Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today with a discussion on Anthem, a game I don't talk about really at all on the channel. The reason for that is because back when it was first announced, as stated in a video, I really don't care about this game all too much. Now, this is no disrespect to those who do enjoy some of the modern BioWare titles like Dragon Age Inquisition or Mass Effect Andromeda, but those games just gradually vibed with me less and less, and I prefer the style of games that BioWare made from Dragon Age Origins and prior to that. To each their own. But anyway, this pivot in philosophy from BioWare actually has me a bit more curious about Anthem, a bit more willing to try it out, and slightly hopeful for the future. Emphasis on slight. All this information comes from Michael Gamble's Twitter, who is the lead producer over at BioWare. Let's take a read and get into the discussion. Had a few people ask me about why we are doing an open demo. This is why. Your money is hard earned. Games are an investment. We think it's fair you get to try before you buy. The entire campaign has been one of transparency, and we think Anthem is cool to watch, but awesome to play. Tapping into a bit of that transparency when a fan of BioWare had asked, and as a demo, can we expect it to be completely functional, the same as the launch product will be? Will feedback on mechanics or controls be potentially implemented in a day zero patch? To which Michael says there will be changes and further bug fixes in the launch game, which will come a month later, but the demo will be how the game plays. I know demos aren't something that you can just cut off the piece of the final product, slap together, and shoot out to fans. I know it takes way more than anyone really can imagine to get a demo out to gamers, but let me tell you, it is such a relief to see demos actually making some type of return, and in a more new fashion. What we're seeing now is more so the trials, which is where you play the game for an hour or two and it's the entire game right there. After that, once your trial ends, you're able to decide if you want to buy the game there and then, sometimes at a discounted price, and you keep your save progress from where you left off in that trial. In the case of Anthem, it shows exactly where they're kind of at with their product, that it's cool to watch but awesome to play. I can understand this a bit, and I think all of us would be lying if we said we didn't get that, because I can name a bajillion games that I had looked at and said and then I actually picked them up and I was like, this is so much fun. A great example is actually Rocket League, a game that I downloaded on a whim when it was free on PS Plus and said, I'm bored tonight, let's just see how this goes. It doesn't look fun, but whatever. And then I ended up loving the game and playing it so much. So there are plenty of examples of games that are cool to watch but awesome to play. So perhaps Anthem is one of those titles that once it's in your hands, it feels great, because I remember going to E3 and hearing a lot of people talking about how fun it was to play. Now, in a way, as an old school BioWare fan, that's a bit of the stab in the heart, because I remember we used to freak out about their storytelling, character building, relationships in games, and now we're talking about how good the shooting is in a BioWare game. How times change, I know developers have to evolve over time, try to stay current, to stay in business, but try not to sacrifice too much of themselves in the process. It's a really hard line to walk, but that's also me just being obsessed with their earlier work. While yes, I think BioWare does believe in the philosophy that Michael said, that your money's hard earned and games are investments, I think they also are not really mentioning how many games are coming out right before Anthem. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that the week before Anthem launches, there are 4 different games dropping: Far Cry New Dawn, Crackdown 3, Jump Force, and Metro Exodus. Prior to that, you have the Resident Evil 2 remake, as well as Kingdom Hearts 3. As far as I'm concerned, each one of these games is probably on someone's radar big time, and then Anthem comes after all of that. That's not to say that Anthem's gonna flop, that's not to say that Anthem will sell poorly, but Anthem is up against some pretty strong competition early on. So yes, while I'm sure BioWare does believe in the fact that, okay, your money's hard earned, they also know they are up against a pretty tough battle here, especially after their last launch was Andromeda, which didn't go well at all and really destroyed a lot of their trust with consumers. Anyway, there's not much more to go on off of that. It's my first Anthem video in a long while. As for future Anthem coverage, I wouldn't expect it. I just wanted to talk about a pivot in BioWare's philosophy. As most of you know, I'm more interested in BioWare as a company rather right now than the games they are currently making. But who knows, maybe I'll pick up Anthem and it'll be a blast. We'll see. Anyway, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Do fire away, ladies and gentlemen. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description down below, along with my Patreon. Do consider supporting that, as it fuels all the content I create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.